You got to be a pretty good observer to do this for a living, and I've been observing a lot here in Las Vegas the last couple of days where we're attending the 2020 SHOT Show and kind of watching the way people are interacting with the numerous TVs that are everywhere here in Las Vegas as this impeachment trial has been unfolding. You know, America has historic moments, moon landings, and even the Clinton impeachment, where Americans tended to gather around the TVs or turn up their radios and listen and follow along. And my sense is that, and I've been watching very closely, nobody's really paying attention to the impeachment of President Trump. It's almost as if Americans know there's a foregone conclusion, so why bother? This is such political theater, and I did my best. I watched hours of the coverage yesterday. Listen to lawyers droning on and congressmen strutting around and Adam Schiff up there strutting his stuff. There was some drama. Chief Justice Roberts at one point had to step in and admonish both sides. Here's what that sounded like. This is cut number 5 from C-SPAN because it was starting to get heated and fiery, and Justice Roberts decided to put an end to it. Here's what he said.
I think it is appropriate at this point for me to admonish both the House managers and the President's counsel in equal terms to remember that they are addressing the world's greatest deliberative body. One reason it has earned that title is because its members avoid speaking in a manner and using language that is not conducive to civil discourse. In the 1905 Swain trial, a senator objected when one of the managers used the word pettifogging, and the presiding officer said the word ought not to have been used. I don't think we need to aspire to that high a standard, but I do think those addressing the Senate should remember where they are.
I'm a little intrigued by what pettifogging means. I'm sure it's got a colorful definition, so maybe we can. I don't know if I want any pettifogging on the Mike Gallagher show, or I do want pettifogging. I don't know if I've been guilty of pettifogging, or if I've never come close to it. I don't know. But nonetheless, the reason Justice Roberts was concerned is it was getting pretty fiery, and I want you to hear this exchange. One of the president's lawyers is Jay Sekulow, who's been on our show before. Smart guy. He's a broadcaster, too. I mean, he's done radio and television for years. In fact, his son Jordan guest hosted for me over the holidays a little bit. Here was Jay Sekulow sort of blasting Jerry Nadler, and I want to give you a little bit of history of Jerry Nadler. A lot of people outside New York don't know the history that Jerry Nadler and Donald Trump have. They have hated each other for decades. Jerry Nadler despises Trump, and I'm sure the feeling is mutual. So for Jerry Nadler, this is payback time. This is his revenge. And he's one of the many who said many, many months ago, I think that impeachment should be on the table. You know, the Democrats set out to impeach this president literally from day one. I always refer to the Washington Post article. That's real easy to find. Just look it up. The campaign to impeach President Trump has begun by Matea Gold, January 20th, 2017. That was Inauguration Day for Donald Trump. Here's Sekulow, though. Great clip. Cut number 10 from PBS News and Grabien. And this is sort of what ratcheted up the temperature, but for my money, it was brilliant on Sekulow's part. Here it is.
Chairman Nadler talked about treacherous. At about 12:10 a.m., on January 22nd, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee at this body, on the floor of this Senate, said executive privilege and other nonsense. Now think about that for a moment. Executive privilege and other nonsense. Mr. Nadler, it is not nonsense. These are privileges recognized by the Supreme Court of the United States. And to shred the Constitution on the floor of the Senate, to serve what purpose? The Senate is not on trial. Constitution doesn't allow, which just took place. Look what we've dealt with for the last now 13 hours. And we hopefully are closing the proceedings, but not on a very high note. Only guilty people try to hide evidence. So I guess when President Obama instructed his Attorney General to not give information, he was guilty of a crime. That's the way it works, Mr. Nadler? Is that the way you view the United States Constitution? Because that's not the way it was written. That is not the way it's interpreted. And there's not the way the American people should have to live.
A very powerful, passionate speech by the president's attorney, Jay Sekulow. You know, when you hear his words and you sort of absorb the enormity of what we're experiencing, what Sekulow is saying is that Nadler and the Democrats are literally trying to just destroy the Constitution. They're using impeachment as a political tool, which is what the founders were worried about. They were so worried that an opposing party could say, you know what, I don't like the fact this guy got elected. I don't like that he got elected, so let's impeach him, let's remove him so we can try to undo the process. And then after 3 years of success, look at the stock market, look at your 401k, look at your bank account, look at your paycheck, look at over and over the accomplishments of this administration. Listen, you may not like the guy, you don't like his tweets, you don't like his tone, you don't like, I mean, he calls Nadler from Davos, the World Economic Forum today, a sleazeball. Now, we're not used to presidents who go to the World Economic Forum and call his adversaries sleazeballs. We've never experienced a man like this in the White House. I get it. I get how unconventional it is. I get how new this is to the American people. You can't impeach somebody because you don't like the way he conducts himself. A high crime and misdemeanor has to mean something. The president's conversation with the president of Ukraine not only was not an impeachable offense, it was perfectly transparently justified. If Trump was afraid of something, you think he would have released the transcript of the call in about 5 minutes when there was any scrutiny? A president is allowed to say, I want you to investigate corruption. And of course, as we know, military aid was not withheld from Ukraine. As we know, Ukraine did not believe there was any threat of withheld military aid. This is ridiculous, and I think everybody knows it. I believe everybody's in on the game. I believe that everybody's sort of in on the scam.